Alright, Sekahalayam, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of Rule well. You know, peace and blessings to the brothers that push this truth to the four corners of the earth. I know only one or two sisters that actually listen. You know, the place kinda, today the place quiet, you know. A lot of rain, the weather bad, so you know, it's quiet today compared to usual. You know, the men of the Lord, the work never done. Right, we had to come out here and preach the word in season, out of season. I'll get our scripture in what? Timothy. So, okay. I'll get our scripture. This is 2 Timothy 4. 2 Timothy 4, I'll start from 1, right? It says, I charge thee therefore before power and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his appearing, and his kingdom, right? So we charge with this word, as the scriptures say. As soon as you start actually study this, you actually charged with the word to follow it and be teachers of it also. You know, the scriptures talk about the body. So the scriptures talk about some, you know, who were made apostles, some were teachers, and some are helpers and all that. But for the ones who are actually appointed to be teachers, what we had to do, we had to learn the word and come and teach it to the others. Scriptures talk about also somewhere in Timothy, I think, about teaching it in men who would hold fast it and teaching others also, you know, just paraphrasing. Right? Say verse 2, it says, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season. And now we have to do, no matter, you know, like you see it our brothers in America, even in cold, they just be preaching in the winter time. You understand? We had to make sure they're preaching our word constantly so the people don't have any excuse. You understand? They're constantly pushing our word. As to talk about. Constantly pushing our word. So the people will have no excuse in time of destruction come. Right? And that will show you that the true men of the Lord is actually abide by this word. He does be preaching the word constantly no matter what. Because it's in them, like I was saying with Jeremiah, it said it was in him like a fire, he couldn't hold it back. Right? It said preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. Right? I'll go to verse 3, it say, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So even though we actually come and teaching this doctrine the correct way, they go ask some that will refuse it. And what they will turn to, they will turn to people who teaching things that, you know, they want to hear. Like that's how you'll see it, as certain men will jump something from camp to camp. You understand? Because they might start off in one camp and then they might end up in the next camp. Because that camp end up teaching something that pleasing to them. You understand? Or more appropriate to their liking. But we had to accept the word how it is, bitter and sweet. The scriptures refer to that. It say it was in his mouth what? Sweet as honey. I'll jump to that quick. That is in what? Ezekiel. And I didn't even want to start with this, but you know, that's how the Spirit does be. Right, this is Ezekiel 3, I'll start from 1, right? It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Right? So, when this truck pass. Right. Ezekiel 3 verse 1. He said, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. He said, eat this roll and go speak to the house of Israel. And that is the same thing that happened to us. Well, we was told to eat the roll and go speak to the house of Israel. It says, so I opened my mouth and he caused me to eat that roll. And that roll represents what? The word. You understand? We're supposed to take in our knowledge and then go and give it to others. You understand? Verse 3 it says, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. Because this word represent was something sweet when you hear the first time, hearing all the different things about, who you really are. You understand how special the children of Israel is to the Most High and so forth. And also the blessings and rewards we are to receive is a sweet thing to hear. You understand? This knowledge itself is a sweet thing. Verse 4, it say, and he said unto me, right, it's our one that explained it to be in the belly as bitter. I thought this was the one. No, this is not the one. But he referred to it as what? As in the mouth as sweet as honey, and in the belly bitter. Why? Because the bitterness represents, all the affliction that you had to go through in this truth. All the hardship. You understand? It will be bitter. Okay, even though you might be doing the work of the Lord, you'll be going through tribulation. You have people scoffing at you. You have people disliking you for what you believe in. And all men of the Lord, true men of the Lord, experience that at some point in time. That people who don't even speak to me anymore. You understand? Because of what I believe. You understand? All is a part of the bitterness. Sometimes your family will turn against you. Friends will turn against you. A woman will turn against you. You understand? All is a part of the battle. But no matter what, we have to come out and do these things. I think that is something what the angel, I think Uriel told that to Esdras. That is in 2nd Esdras 7, I believe. Second is just 7. I'll start from Second is just 7. I'll start from 9. Right? It say, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, which is what the kingdom is, an inheritance unto Israel. It say, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So that also showing you what? That there's something you have to work for. It's not just about saying you believe, but it's something you have to put effort into. And how we has actually worked for this? By doing the will of the Most High. You understand? By having faith, by doing the works, and by trying to keep the law to the best of your ability. That's how we working towards that. That's how we working towards that treasure we're going to receive. Right? Say verse 10. It say, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. And that's showing you that portion is for who? Is for Israel. It's not for all the other nations. It might look that way sometimes because Israel scattered among other nations, like with the controversy with the Gentiles and so forth. But it's for actual descendants of Israel. You understand? It's not for heathens. It's not for the heathen nations. verse 11, it says, because for their sake I made the world. And when Adam trespassed my statutes, then was decreed that now it's done. It said, then were the entrance of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. It said, they are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. It said, for the entrance of the elder world were wide and sure and brought immortal fruit. It said, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Right? So we, like I say, we're working to receive these things. And we had to go through this to receive the benefits that we going and receive. You understand? All these things that the scriptures say is a light thing compared to the benefits of the kingdom. To be in eternal rest. You know, to be a king on earth. All these things are minor. Minor. You understand? It might get here sometimes in the flesh, but it's minor. Right? It says verse 15, it says, now therefore, why disquittest thou thyself, seeing that thou art but a corruptible man? It says, and why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? It says, why hast thou not considered in thine mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is past? Because Ezra wasn't focusing on what it is he needs to do in the future. He was studying about things that passed that he shouldn't be studying. And if you read the story of Ezra, it shows you how inquisitive he was. He used to be inquiring about things that it wasn't expedient for him. Right? No, jump to something else. And all this showing you what? That these are things that you had to work for. I was watching a video, and I had to do a video on that topic. It was talking about about some Catholic priests, you understand, that was molesting dumb children, dumb boys. You understand? You're seeing things with things about NATO coming out. Things with France. I think it's France and America having a rift with something. You're seeing a lot of prophecies being fulfilled. And also you're seeing the Most High actually revealing things about Esau. And that is one main reason why Esau wanna cut YouTube off. And eventually a lot of other sites and a lot of other things that could bring out information against them. Why? Because the secret parts are being discovered. You understand? Things that people couldn't be able to search and find out before, it's being revealed now on a rampant basis. Like those are like that article, that video that I do a topic on, a video on Catholic priests actually raping little boys and little dumb boys, as in the boys not able to speak. So they raping victims that not able to speak out or be able to defend themselves. You understand? And the Lord still revealed it. Why? Because Esau being brought down. Things that they would have do back in the days and get away with it. Or maybe even to cover it up. Now it's being revealed. You understand? The kingdom falling. And you're actually seeing signs of that. You're seeing a lot of things that they would usually hide coming out. You're seeing the economy collapsing. You're seeing even the beast turning against the whore. And all these things is what? A part of prophecy. So there's Revelations in one second. Nine and 17. This is the Revelation 17 verse 16, right? I'll start from 16. Revelation 17 verse 16, it say, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, it said, these shall hate the whore. Because the 10 horns represent one, NATO and the EU. And you see how right now it has so much of rifts with America and NATO right now. You understand? America actually putting a lot of tariffs on NATO. And they starting to turn against America according to prophecy, because it say what? In time to come, the beast will the horns or the beast will hate the whore, you know, and turn against it. Right? I'll read it over. Verse 16 it say, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that fire goes back to one, nuclear destruction. You understand? Scriptures talk about that lake of fire. That lake of fire is not a place under the ground. You understand? That have a guy with a pitchfork. No. That is nuclear destruction. That is all of these missiles that go in and destroy America. Right? Burn her with fire. It's say, for the Most High had put in their hearts to fulfill his will. And that is our main point there, because it's not something that they will just choose to do. It's the Lord actually stirring them up against America. And that is why it hasn't even happened yet. Even though they're going back and forth with the little arguments and so forth, the Lord didn't actually put it in the heart yet to do it, but it's leading up to that, because everything have an appointed time. But when that time come, they will turn against her and destroy America. Right? It says, for the Most High had put in their heart to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, right? Until the words of power shall be fulfilled. And that destruction soon coming. But no man could say exactly when. I read 1 Thessalonians 5, I'll start from 1, right? It say, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So we don't know exactly when these things will happen. You usually see things as work like impulses. You'll see things will start to act up, and then it'll cool down, and then it'll act up, and then it'll cool down. And then suddenly the Lord could just bring destruction. You understand? We don't know exactly when this is going to be, but we watch the signs, and we keep the faith, you know, for when that time actually does come. You understand? We don't want to end up like the servant that was sleeping, you know, just paraphrasing. Talk about that in Luke, about the servant who the Lord come back and find sleeping. We're not supposed to be like that servant. Right? Right, as a thief in the night. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. And travail upon, it say, as travail, Salakia, upon a woman with child, as they shall not escape. It's like a woman when she go and give birth. When she water break and she start to receive contraction, it'll be what a sudden pain. You understand? And that could come, you know, in an instant. When people least expect it. And you'll even see things like that has happened even in this kingdom. Like I had a time that they call something called a SOE, a state of emergency. That had happened suddenly. The people had no warning about it. You understand? And whatever destruction the Lord going to bring on this place, it will be similar. They wouldn't have any pre-warning besides in the scriptures, but they wouldn't be watching. You understand? They're in a slumbering mindset. They wouldn't be watching for the signs and actually waiting for it. They're thinking to themselves that these things ain't happening no time soon, but the Lord will come to them, what it say, like a thief in the night, unexpected. Right? Say verse 4, it say, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Like I say, we expecting these things and we actually preparing ourselves for it. Now, a person can actually prepare in the sense of, you're going to store food and you're going to build bunkers. You understand? That is not how the men of the Lord is prepared for what to come. The true followers of the Lord is prepared by what? By taking heed to the word and keeping firm to these things. Because according to the scriptures, when that time does come, the Lord will see us through it. Because as the scriptures say, if the Lord is not with you, you cannot make it. I'll get that scripture quick. It's today's Revelation 3 verse 10, right? They say, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, like I was talking about, that how we just prepared by keeping the word of this patience. They say, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So like I'm ready to come out. Right, they say, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So we know in that time to come is the Lord going and keep us. You can't keep yourself in that time of destruction. The most you could do is make sure you stay right, now, and organize yourself and be according to how the Lord wants you to be. So when that time comes, the Lord will defend you. You can't keep yourself in that time. It's for the Lord to actually keep us. Right? Right. They say, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So we're making ourselves ready now. You understand? We're making ourselves ready for when that time comes. The Lord will be with us. Just paraphrasing. Right? I'll go back to the Thessalonians 5. Thessalonians 5 verse 5, right? It say, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. It say, we are not of the night nor of darkness. And that darkness means what? In a state of ignorance, a slumbering state. We not of that mindset. There's a scriptures talk about so don't sleep as others do. That sleep referring to what? As into not being aware of what is going on, not having this knowledge, being spiritually dead. You understand? We're not in a slumberous state. It says verse 6, it says, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Be sober-minded, what? Be clear-minded. It says, for they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. It says, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. I'll talk about that what in Ephesians, as Ephesians 6, starting from around 10, I believe. You understand? Putting on that breastplate and the sword which represent the word of power and so forth. It say, verse 9, it say, for the Most High had not appointed us to wrath. And that wrath represents what? He said he had not appointed us unto wrath, which is the elect. He have not appointed us unto wrath. Let me see what they're talking about when they say that wrath. Right, let me see what our wrath is. Let's say Revelation 6. I'll start from Revelation 6, I'll start from 13, right? Revelation 6 verse 13, it say, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely fig, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And that stars represent what? Those ICBMs falling upon the earth. You understand? But they didn't, the prophets back in the day, they didn't know what an ICBM was. So they would, you know, they would class it as what they understood it, what they would compare it to in that time. Like I also refer to the missiles as what? As a bow and an arrow. Because that is what it is they could have compared to, that's what they had knowledge of. Right? It say, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. You understand? That big cloud, like when a missile hits, it's like how they see the bomb in Hiroshima, and you see when the bomb hit, had the big mushroom cloud, and the heavens departed as a scroll, right? It say when it is rolled together, it say, and every mountain and island will move out of their places. And now scriptures talk about what? Earthquakes. Like bad earthquakes, like the earth shaking to and fro like a drunkard. You understand? That representing when the missiles actually hit the ground, how it's going to actually shake the earth. You understand? It's going to be earthquakes that the earth never saw before. That is how terrible those earthquakes are going to be. Right? It say, and the kings of the earth, verse 15. It say, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And those dens and rocks of the mountain represent what? Those bunkers. You understand? They will try to go underground to try to escape that destruction. Like you see, there's some rich people, they go out like they call them doomsday preppers. They actually prepping physically, carnally, for the destruction that is to come. But the men of the Lord, you know, the true followers of the Lord, they don't have to prep that way. But that's how Esau and the heathens and, you know, 2/3 of our people, that's how they will prep. Do you understand? Trying to escape the destruction. Verse 16 is say, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. And that's what our wrath going back to. You understand? That's what I mean by that wrath. They say, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Now let me go back to Thessalonians. Right? Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 9, it say, for the Most High had not appointed us to wrath. That wrath that he going and bring, you know, destruction. The elect are not appointed unto that. You understand? They had a mark of exemption. So that, yeah. They had a mark of exemption. Bring down just now in Ezekiel 9. You understand? They had a mark of exemption, so they would be exempted from that destruction that is to come. Right, they say, for the Most High had not appointed us unto wrath. They say, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. They say, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we shall live together with him. Right? And that wrath coming. You understand it? That wrath coming, and it coming like a thief in the night that the scriptures talk about. That wrath coming. Yeah, apparently like it had some party, so you have a lot of coons around. I have a lot of them around right now. No, but why they partying? The men of the Lord doing what they had to do. Right? Scriptures talk about that. We'll bring it out. Before I continue with that scripture, I'm going to bring it out. Matthew what, 24? Matthew 24 verse. Matthew 24 verse. Matthew 24 verse. Matthew 24 verse 36, right? I'll start from 36. Matthew 24 verse 36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, which I was talking about earlier. You understand? Like a thief in the night, only the Lord really know. You understand? Only the Most High know. It said not even Yahweh Shai knows when that time is. He are all waiting. Only the Most High knows when that time is. It said, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Right? But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And how the people was back in Noah time. It says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and given in marriage. So you say what? They was having a ball. You understand? The people wasn't studying about the flood coming, even though Noah was warning them and letting them know, hey, you know, the flood going and come. They thought Noah was a madman. And it's the same thing happening with us today. They view us as madmen. You understand? They view us as madmen. Because it's the same thing. Same spirits back here doing the same thing. And we, just like how we in that spirit of Noah, to actually be warning the people and preparing ourselves for when that destruction comes. You know, the second flood. I'll call it second flood because this time it could be a flood of fire, not a flood of water. You understand? It could be referred to as a lake of fire. Right? When that second death come, when that second death come, it would be the same thing. Noah would be in the ark and they would be being destroyed. And that new ark to come would be what? Those chariots that will deliver Israel. Right? It's say, and given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And that time when the men of the Lord go enter into that spiritual ark, into the chariots. The scriptures talk about in Revelation 15 when they talk about the sea of glass. You understand? Mingled with fire. They will be taken up from the destruction. And just like in Noah time, the sinners will be left in the destruction. Verse 39, it say, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. It says, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So we know that this is what going to take place. And we getting ourselves ready. And like I say, it's not by digging bunkers, you know, or storing up food, but actually getting your spirit right. Cleaning your robes, as the scriptures talk about. And that will cause the Lord to sup with you in that time. The Lord will be with you. As we read in Revelation 3. It said Job 5 verse 19. Right? It said, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. You understand? The elect will be delivered from those troubles. Some men will be given spiritual powers. You understand? They will have some that will actually be martyrs for the word, whereas they will have to be beheaded for the word. But some will not taste death, as the scriptures will talk about. Right? I'll read it over. It say, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. It say, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. So it's like how it had in 2 Kings, when the women were eating the children and so forth. That's not going to happen to the elect. They're not going to go through that. 2/3 of Israel and the other nations might go through that. Right? It say, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. It say, and in war from the power of the sword. It said, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. It said, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. It said, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Because the Lord will take care of us in that time. That is what he said he would do. What happened with I believe it's Ezekiel. He did feed Ezekiel with what? With he sent a raven. He used a raven to feed Ezekiel bread and meat. The children of Israel when I was in the wilderness, how he feed them with manna. The Lord could feed you in a million ways. You understand? But you had to have faith in that time. You had to have faith. You had to have faith. But in that time when you're going through those final trials, you had to have faith that the Lord will see you through it. And one of the greatest things you had to have in that time. Besides knowing the name of the Lord, you had to have faith. Because the Lord will deliver his elect. Right? Right, thou shalt laugh. It said, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Because the scriptures talk about the beasts of the earth, about the destruction, about the 4 plagues. I'll get out quick. Right? Talking about the beasts of the earth, I'll get the 4 plagues. Right, I'll get the 4 plagues. Yesterday, Jeremiah 15. I'll start from verse 2, right? Jeremiah 15, verse 2. And say, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? It said, then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord. So this is not what we say, this is what the Lord say, right? Such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. So in other words, we can't do nothing fair. Scriptures talk about that in Proverbs. It say, when I call you refuse, so the Lord will laugh at your calamity. When that time of destruction come, we can't do nothing to help anybody out here. You understand? We can't help nobody out here. When the Lord bringing destruction upon all the sinners, such as for death to death. Right? Verse 3 is say, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord. Right? It said the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. So you see, talk about what? The beasts of the earth. Then go back to Job. Right? Go back to Job, Job 5, or remember verse 22. It say, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, which is one of the things you're going to bring on them. We wouldn't be affected. Well, Abaratas, we wouldn't be affected by that, the hopeful elect. You understand? That why we're doing these things in hope that when that time comes, we will escape the set perils that are to come. Right? Which is one of them is what? The famine. It said, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Talk about it again. Beasts of the earth. One of the plagues that are to come. It say, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So when you go see the beasts of the field actually tearing people apart, and destroying people, those who had the mark, it wouldn't harm them. Like I say, I'll get out just now in Ezekiel. Those who had a mark, they wouldn't be destroyed by it. Right? Say verse 24, I say, and thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace. Right? Thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thine habitation, and shall not sin. Right? Look at that in Ezekiel now. Scripture say by the mouth of what? 2 or 3 witnesses. You'll see in many it has 2 or 3 times written the same thing. That's how the Lord does work, by 2 or 3 witnesses. Sometimes you'd have it even 4 and 5 times. Right, it says Ezekiel. Ezekiel 9, I'll start from 1, right? Ezekiel 9 from 1. It says, he cried also in mine hearing with a loud voice, saying, cause them to have charge over the city and draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. I know he was talking to what, the angels, right? It say, and behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. It say, and one man among them was clothed with linen, with it a writer's inkhorn by his side, and he went in and stood beside the brazen altar. Right? The instructions that they're receiving. It say, and the glory of the Most High of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was, and the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side, which is what? An angel. And the Lord said unto him, go forth. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abomination that be done in the midst thereof. And that mark, what they're talking about, is not like the RFID chip, or what they call the mark of the beast. That mark is a different mark, which is a mark of exemption. Because like I say, they like I read in Thessalonians, they will be exempted from the wrath. You understand? They have that mark of exemption. That is the mark that them receiving on the forehead. Right? Verse 5, it say, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him to the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. So in that time of destruction, if you don't have a mark of exemption, you understand, when the Lord actually bringing judgment upon this place, if you don't have a mark of exemption to get away, you're going to be destroyed. If you're from the nation of Israel. From the heathens, some will be destroyed and some will go into captivity. But if once you're from the nation of Israel, once you don't have a mark of exemption, destruction. Right? So neither have ye pity. And this is an order that the Lord gives to the angels. People that like to think that the Lord not going and sanction this. Is the Lord sanctioning this? And why he going and destroy them? Because it's a rebellious house. You understand? They don't do his will. Right? Verse 6, it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. So the scriptures say what? The Lord is not a respecter of persons. Like in this kingdom, they might be quick to do a man something, but if it's a woman or a child, they might want to be sentimental towards them. They might want to bend laws to show them mercy. In that time of destruction, they're not going to be shown mercy. Once they don't have that mark, they're going to be destroyed. They're not going to be shown any pity, as the scriptures say. Read that over. They're not going to be shown any pity. Verse 5, right, it say, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. It say, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. And the sanctuary is what? Israel. You understand? Sanctuary is Israel. So this is what Israel got to go through. And once it's not of thy elect, it could be old, it could be young, it could be a woman, it could be a child, it could be a man, you will receive destruction. And we already talked about the four types that the Lord appoints. You know, the sword, famine, you know, the beasts of the field, all these different things. All these different ways the Lord go in and actually cause them to be destroyed. Bringing destruction upon them. Yesterday is Ezekiel 14. Ezekiel 14, I'll start from Ezekiel 14, I'll start from 12, right? Ezekiel 14 from 12. It said, the word of the Lord came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, it say, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, which is something that come in to many places, you understand, very soon. First the famine of the word, but it will also have a literal famine also. People have nothing to eat. And when that time come, you understand? When that time come, it's going to be chaotic, right? A famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it, right? They say, though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver, but neither they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord power. And all I go back to what scriptures talk about in Philippians. They say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, because you can't save anybody else. Even though you might care about your parents, even though you might care about your wife, you might care about anybody close to you, you cannot save them. You got to work out your own salvation. You understand? Because when the Lord bring judgment upon land, anybody close to you could be a target. Why? Because they didn't delight in the things of the Lord. They delighted in wickedness. So they will have to reap what the sower, the scriptures talk about. Scriptures say, whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall reap, right? Verse 15, it say, if I cause noisome beasts to pass through the land, see again, noisome beasts, and they spoil it, so that it be desolate, and no man may pass through because of the beasts, right? It said, though these three men were in it, as I live, saith the Lord power, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter, nor daughters. They only shall be delivered, but the land shall be desolate. Those that had a mark. You understand? Because the three who to call is what? Daniel, Job, and Noah. The three of them were righteous men. You understand? And they were delivered because of the righteousness. They would be delivered because of the faith. And that's what it is already. That's what it is we already doing these things for. Having faith and trying to be righteous in sight of the Lord, to also be delivered from these perils that are to come. That is in what? 2nd Esdras. I'll come back to this. Let me 2nd Esdras quick. Second is just 2nd is just 9 verse 7, right? It said, everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So that's what we have to do right now. We had our works and we had our faith to be able to escape these perils that come in. Right? Ezekiel 14 verse, I read verse 17, right? It say, or if I bring a sword upon the land, and say, sword, go through the land, so that I cut off man and beast from it. It said, though these 3 men were in it, as I live, saith the Lord power, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter, but they only shall be delivered themselves. And the next one here, verse 19, it says, if I send a pestilence, which is the next thing that the Lord going to bring upon this place. You're already seeing some outbreaks of real terrible diseases. You understand? Seeing they say that a new strand of HIV come out. Things like Ebola, and it have other pestilences also. You know, other plagues that the Lord might even release in that time. You understand? Because the Lord real creative. You understand? Yes, no. Yeah, so if I send a pestilence into the land and pour out my fury upon it in blood, to cut off from it man and beast. It said, though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live, saith the Lord, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness. Talk about that in Ezekiel, I believe it's 18. You understand? If a man would turn from his wickedness, his sins would be forgiven him. Right? By his righteousness, right? Verse 21 is say, for thus saith the Lord power, how much more when I send my 4 sword judgments. Talk about what? In Revelation 7, the 4 angels holding the 4 winds. Right? By that time of destruction come, people might laugh now. People here talking about these things and laugh and tell themselves, yeah, that won't happen now. Yeah, you know, everything cool. When that time of destruction come, they'll be like headless chickens. Like headless chickens. Right? You say, verse 21, it say, for thus saith the Lord power, how much more when I send my 4 sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword and the famine, and the noisome beasts, and the pestilence, to cut off from it man and beast. It say, yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant. A remnant is what? A small amount. A very, very small amount. Talk about that in I believe it's Isaiah 11:11, where he say he will gather the remnant of his people. Right? Just paraphrasing. Talk about the remnant of his people. Right? It say, yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their ways and their doings. You understand? A remnant actually going and get left behind. And what 2 things are going to be destroyed? The scriptures say what? They say their righteousness have delivered them. And that is what we're rehearsing now. We're rehearsing our righteousness. And they talk about in Judges 5, I believe. Judges 5, around 11. Rehearsing the righteous act. Doing the things of the Lord. Because we not only know the destruction that is to come, but we know the glory that is to come after the destruction. The benefits, the privileges, the rest. To live without infirmities, to have a new body and a new heart, where you will never depart from the laws, and to talk about in the promises. All these things is things to boost your faith. It's things that actually look forward to. You understand? There's Hebrew 8. I'll start from verse 8, right? Hebrews 8 verse 8. It says, for finding fault with them, he saith, Right? He saith, behold, the days come, say the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. You understand? That new covenant is what we're waiting for. Right now we need promise of that new covenant, but we're waiting until that new covenant fully established. We're waiting patiently for that. For these promises, nothing in Esau's kingdom could compare to them. Nothing. Right? It says verse 9, it says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. It says, because they continued not in my covenants, and I regarded them not, say the Lord. Verse 10, it says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. Right? After the time of destruction and the coming of Mashiach. Say the Lord, I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts. You understand? And I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. So in that time you'll never go off again. You'll never sin. You'll never have to go through curses. You understand? You'll never be poor anymore. Never be sick anymore. Because we're going to have a new heart, a new mind, and we're going to have new bodies that the scriptures talk about. Right? Talk about it in 1 Corinthians 15, I believe. Right? They talk about those new bodies. Right? Bodies, immortal bodies. Verse 11 is say, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least even to the greatest. You understand? And that ain't happen yet. That ain't happen yet, but we waiting patiently for that. Scriptures say what? This is the faith and the patience of the saints. Verse 12 it says, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. You understand? So in that time, we will not pay for any sins anymore. Like how now we're in captivity, and we actually had to pay for the transgressions that we do. Even though you're trying to be righteous, you're still under the curses. We're still rehearsing righteousness, and we still have to pay for the things that we did. We're still in captivity now. But in that time, all that done. Right? They say in that he saith in new covenant, he had made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. And that will be waiting on. And that Jake's out here, they don't want our covenant. They want to stay here, slave under Esau, be ruled under Esau instead of actually ruling over Esau. They want to be ruled by Esau. They want to get sick. I coughing right now. Some virus going around. They like this. You understand? They want to stay here and struggle. That's how our people is. Majority of them wants to have weed, alcohol, so a little bit of money to do certain things, and women, that is all they're concerned about. But the men of the people of the Lord, the ones who are actually down for the Lord, they're looking for that promise. So there's Revelation 7. I'll start from verse 15, right? Revelation 7 verse 15. It said, therefore are they before the throne of the Most High, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them, because we will be with Yahushua once again, as he did say in Matthew. He said, "I will not drink with thee until my Father's kingdom." And that time, Abaratusa, Lord's will, we will be drinking with him. We will be happy. No more struggles, no more pain. See verse 16, it said, "They shall hunger no more, neither thirst anymore." And that ain't happened yet. You know how he's asking us. See Jews across there talking about Israel re-established and all this nonsense. Still people of Israel starving around the world. Still people thirsting of Israel. You understand? Still seeing signs that it ain't come yet. But I what we waiting for. They said they shall hunger no more, neither shall neither thirst anymore, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat, like no kind of hardship. You understand? No more kind of struggles and no more kind of suffering, because that the kingdom is Israel's rest. Once the sun going and shine and heat going and beat upon the heathen nations, they're going to be beaten. You understand? They're going to be slaves. But for Israel, it's going to be a rest. You understand? An eternal rest. Verse 17, it says, "For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them into living fountains of waters, and power shall wipe away all tears from their eyes." You understand? I know it is to never cry again, to never suffer again, to never feel any kind of sadness. That is something to look forward to. You understand? That is something to labor towards. Now these jakes out here who would work 24 hours for small money that go and get taxed, and they can't even spend it comfortable. You understand? That is something to labor for. These promises that will come, that is something to labor for. Especially knowing that that promise is only for your people. And not just your people, but the elect of your people will get the real benefits of it. You understand? They will get the real benefits of it. Today's going to Isaiah, right? Isaiah 2. It's Isaiah 2. I'll start from 1, right? They say the word that Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And that representing what? The two kingdoms, the northern and the southern. We talk about that in Ezekiel, talk about, making a stick and bringing two of them as one. Because in that time, we're not going to be separate anymore. We're going to be one people under Mashiach and King David. You understand? We're going to be one again. Right? They say, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it." And when that time comes, we will be the pinnacle. Israel will be the top, and all other nations will flow unto them. I not seen that happening right now in Jerusalem right now with those fake Jews and them. I not seeing all nations flow into them. But we know that they are fakes. You understand? Scriptures say what? The blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And when you look at the customs and the things that they just do, you can see that they are of Satan. You can see that they are of Satan. Right? Say verse 3. They say, "And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord." It says, "To the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways." Right? "And we will walk in his paths." because the heathen nations will be conformed to our customs. Like you'll see now in now times and even in the past, whenever it is a nation was captive under another nation, what they used to do, that nation was subject to the higher powers' customs. Like when you go back in the Maccabees, you will see that they used to force their customs on Israel. Or they used to force on whoever it is they were over. You understand? Any time when we are over them, they will have to follow our customs. You understand? Yeah, say, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. It say, for out of Zion shall go forth the law. We will be the law. The law as in the Lord will be coming from us unto them. They will have to go by our stuff. They will not no more heathen gods, no more worshiping Baal. They wouldn't have any more. The next thing they do, causing the children to pass through the fire. They wouldn't have any more of that. They wouldn't have any more of that. Like another party somewhere, so have people yeah, that party somewhere. Where coming tomorrow? Stay across the road. Anyone you want to know? But I know when you're across the open, where you want to go? I don't watch the guys see me go for the end, raining. Nah, here, I hear about an hour now. I'm not raining for it. So I know you want to. Huh? Stop it or something.